Hello friends, it's Colrain or Colrain Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. Today I've decided to do something a little bit fun to kind of help you explore your own personal, creative gifts. Now this is going to be a general reading, so all of the messages may not resonate for everybody, and that is perfectly fine. Take what resonates, leave the rest as usual. So, to kind of do a little bit of an intro, I'm going to do what I usually do, so light the candles with the intention, dress the candles, all that, and light the incense with you. If you'd like to skip ahead, there will be timestamps in the description. Otherwise, let's start going. I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of creativity as I light these candles. So, creativity is something that, if we have a divine creator, right, then the act of creation would be an act of communicating with the divine or continuing enacting the divine plan, right? And so when we are in a creative state, in a flow space, whatever you see that creative space for yourself, then we are kind of continuing that divine plan, so to speak. So I'm actually going to do something that's a little bit unique today after I finish lighting these candles, and these are drawing in our guides of the highest compassion, wisdom, truth, only the guides with the most benevolent intention, so that we are being mindful about what type of guidance we are drawing in today. But I'm going to set my lighter to the side. I'm going to do something special, and I'm going to try and include some Reiki into the each of the piles. So my words are going to act as an anointment of some kind or an activation in you to help you to activate these creative gifts and get you into a space of being more open, being able to receive the guidance that you need in order to carry out these divine gifts. So with the incense, I'm actually going to light it on this candle since this is our guidance candle. The incense, as always, is here to protect the space and cleanse the space. I really like to use incense when I'm doing a reading, especially a collective reading, just as that extra layer of protection. And today I'm using strawberry incense. So this incense is going to help us kind of build a friendly bond with our guidance, and I'm going to shut this here so to have better visibility of what I have going on here. And I'm going to shuffle on camera for you as well. So without further ado, I am going to introduce the piles and the little charms that I have here. I hope that you've kind of gotten the chance to meditate, ground yourself, get in with your higher self. So I'm going to open up the session with a singing bowl. And I'm going to introduce the piles. So pile 1 is this kind of jaspery stone, agate type stone. Pile 2 is this crystal, little angel hair kind of crystal. Hope you guys can see it. It's a little point. Pile 3 is this kind of moon type rock. I really enjoy this rock quite a bit. And pile 4 is this little shell. So if you resonate with one or more piles, you can head to the timestamps below to find your pile. Otherwise, I will get started with the reading. Hello friends who selected pile 1. If you selected pile 1 or this agate stone, then this is going to be a reading. So I'm going to move these other crystals off to the side so that they don't disrupt this reading. So like I said before, I'm going to do a little bit of a Reiki thing for this video, and just to help and assist with these. So I'm going to kind of melt the bottom of this so that I can stick it into the wax here. And we are going to light this candle. Oh, I don't think that, oh, you can kind of see, but we're going to light this candle with the intention that this kind of creates a connection between me and you as a viewer. If you've never participated in candle Reiki, this is kind of how it works, and you can light a candle if you want to play along. And I'm going to drip some Hamsa oil, which is a protective and kind of activating type of energy just around it to solidify our intention. And the only thing that you need to do to receive Reiki energy if you want to participate in this portion of the video is just be open to receiving whatever serves you for the highest function. So this is not going to be anything that imposes or does anything to you that you do not desire. So without further ado, let's move on to the reading portion. So I want to ask the guides of the highest benevolence, the highest truth, the highest compassion to assist the reading of pile 1 in their creative gifts. Okay, one more shuffle, and then I'm going to lay these cards out. So we're going to start with the regular tarot. Okay, what is the creative self of those who chose pile 1? Okay, we got the Emperor. So the Emperor as a creative energy is one that is structured. So someone who has like kind of their defined practice. The Emperor I associate with Mars energy. So a lot of times I feel like in a creative sense, this is going to be pushing you in the direction of like having something to say. A lot of you may be like political artists, or you have like for some reason I'm seeing like cinematography. You have some kind of like vision that you want to express to the world, but you're doing it in a way that like many people haven't done before. The Emperor is sometimes like a conqueror, somebody who can go off in a new direction, who can kind of try and like blaze a trail, blaze a pathway, do something that hasn't been done before. What is the strength of the creative gift of pile 1? Again, with the vision, we have the 7 of Pentacles here. So this is being able to plant seeds and then move in a different direction, see the ultimate goal of these actions, and then be able to see them come to fruition. What is the weakness of the creative practice of pile 1 at this time? We have the Hierophant in reverse. So this is blocking yourself off from higher wisdom. If you get like some kind of inspiration, or you have been working with deities or spirit guides, blocking yourself off and being like, no, that's impossible. I feel like using the word impossible is important here because it's showing that there's some part of yourself that doesn't believe fully in the gifts that you've been given. The Hierophant is someone who is spiritually gifted, but not just in a traditional sense, also in the sense of like being able to channel in wisdom, be able to, again, it's similar energy to the Emperor because it is the card right after, but I associate with the Hierophant, excuse me, with Aries. So if you're not an Aries or you don't have strong Aries in your chart, look where the Aries placement in your chart is. So like what house is it in? And that may give you some indication of what kind of things that your creativity needs to be expressing. So for example, if Aries is in your 4th house, you may need to express more about home life, about how you conceptualize like a traditional family, just commenting on that kind of a thing. I feel like part of it is you get stuck in a tradition. The Emperor is somebody who does have a very set goals, like there's a firm foundation that you've built, and so it may be hard for you to branch out and do something new. Okay, and the bottom of the deck energy here is the 7 of Swords in the reverse, and that's 2 7s that have shown up. So to me, 7 or 77, or numbers with 7s adding up to 7 may be important numbers for you, like angel numbers wise, but I do feel like subconsciously you are like having so many doubts, because the 7 of Swords can be a card that talks about doubt or being paranoid, having a lot of like intrusive thoughts, or feeling like other people are not going to understand what you're trying to communicate. So breaking down those barriers and recognizing that you are a pioneer in your field is going to really help you push the boundaries of what you've been doing recently, because I do feel like expanding is going to be important for this group. So let's ask what mindset is going to assist pile 1 in their creative endeavors? Okay. Withdrawn, secretive. This is card 31, adding up to a 4. So again, that 4 with that Emperor energy. But this withdrawn and secretive energy, I do feel like you're needing at this time to embody kind of a closed practice, or some kind of practice where maybe you go within into a more spiritual practice like kind of state, and then you push yourself to kind of understand your own inner truth more. And for some of you, this is going to be like a lifelong journey. So maybe documenting, even if you're not a writer, sitting down and writing out like almost like a little life story. Like if you were going to retell the story of your life up to this point, doing that to see, okay, what are the patterns that have followed me throughout my life? What kind of things have I focused on? What has my creative practice been fueled by in the past? So this kind of like going within is going to help you really authentically express yourself, especially if you collaborate with a lot of other people or do creative projects that have to do with other people. Right now at this time, going within is going to assist you in that. Okay, so I feel like I've already addressed the block, but I just want to kind of ask what sides of yourself may be hindering this movement forward, or actually, I feel like I've already addressed that, so I want to ask a little bit more. I'm going to ask what part of yourself we need to focus on a little bit more in order to kind of let some of these blockages. Sometimes we have like energy blockages in our physical body that help us to push out these creative impulses. So, and we got a card. Toil. He who aims too little, or too much, gets very little. Excuse me. And I think that this goes along with all the other energy that we've had going on in this reading. So toil is like overworking yourself, or kind of doing too much and then expecting a lot of outcome. If you don't take the time to rest, if you don't take that time to be withdrawn, secretive, to spend time with your own energy, it's really hard to express yourself from a really authentic place because you're kind of out of touch with yourself. And yeah, I think that that's pretty self-explanatory. So I want to get one last card to close out the reading and just kind of, actually I'm going to pull 3 cards to examine these creative parts of you that maybe have been untapped at this moment. So what are the untapped creative talents of pile 1? 3 cards, please. We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way. So 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay, so there's the word world in 2 of these cards, and the 2 cards that have world are in the reverse. So these are the more untapped energies. Innocence. I feel like you have a rough time seeing yourself as like a novice or as somebody who has less experience than you'd like, but embracing that is going to allow for you to make mistakes that are necessary. Right now, especially with this Emperor energy, you are very strict on your creative self. You're very strict on those parts of yourself that you feel like are confined to like for example, if you're a painter, you feel like, oh, I need to just paint with paint. But viewing yourself as an innocent, viewing yourself as somebody who is able to kind of expand and do something new is going to allow you to bring in other materials and like paint on top of like things that you already have, bringing these different things together and kind of synthesizing different things. With the 2 cards, Other Worlds and World of Dreams, these are both very positive cards, but I do feel like this is you having the potential to expand your consciousness out of yourself and tap into other dimensions and other realms and see kind of like communicate with different beings, I guess. I know that's not for everybody, but you know, doing like Akashic record work, or this could even be if you're not into that like spiritual side of discovering other worlds or like doing astral travel or anything, looking at other worlds as in like other subcultures or like other cultures in general, like cultures that you didn't grow up in, to see kind of the artistic practice, or not even just artistic, because I feel like that can be a limiting word sometimes for some people who don't resonate with the traditional artist, but like other forms of creative practice that people have taken on. So like if you are not very well versed in like woodworking, kind of just viewing other people's art to see what kind of inspiration you can take from it. That's what that other worlds and world of dreams kind of is. I also do think that for some of you, doing dream work is going to assist you in that creative process and show you kind of what direction you should move in. But yeah, otherwise I feel like that's all I'm getting for you, pile one. I hope that this resonated and helped to push you forward into that like creative space that I know that you are so close to achieving. And I do feel like if you are already in the process of a creative like lifestyle, or that's like a big part of your life, just going within, kind of grounding yourself and not overworking yourself is going to be really important at this time. So otherwise, I will see you in another video, friends, and I'm sending so many blessings, so much love your way, and I will let this candle burn down so that you can continue receiving the energy. But I'll see you again. Bye, friend. Hello, pile 2. If you selected pile 2 or this angel hair quartz point, then this is going to be your creative talents reading, and also kind of signaling to me as a reader just some like creative talents that possibly you have not like tapped into fully. And it's not really tapping into fully, it's more of like undiscovered kind of a thing. I feel like sometimes we limit ourselves and say, you know, I'm not creative like this person, or I don't fit into this archetype of like an artist or whatever. And so my job here is to kind of help you to see creativity a little bit differently, hopefully. So I am including Reiki in this video, and in order to protect this little candle that I have sitting over here on this makeshift candle holder, hopefully I can move it a little bit to be more in your view, I'm going to drip some Hamsa oil on it. And Hamsa is it's like that hand, but it is like the hand of the divine, kind of protecting and presiding over your creative pursuits. So I'm going to light this candle, and if you've never received Reiki before, Reiki energy is like universal life force energy, and the only thing you need to do is to be open to receiving it. And so if you want to participate in this portion of the video, you can. If not, that's totally fine. But I'm going to light this candle, and you can also light a candle kind of in participation with me in order to receive. You don't have to, but I'm going to set the intention that any energy that needs to find you for your creative process to assist me with this reading can find you through the flame that I've lit here. So without further ado, I would like to open the session. And we are going to start shuffling. So as I split the deck already, I have the Ace of Wands. So I do feel like this energy is going to assist you kind of going down a new path creatively. We have the Eight of Wands also coming forward. So this is going to be like information that you're receiving, or like inspiration that comes to you really quickly, but it's going to kind of move you into a different vibration. I feel like this is almost like a timeline shift. So this is really exciting energy. It may affect the way that you live your life every day, and the kind of projects that you get into. So I do feel like for you guys, you have a little bit more of a creative practice that takes up your everyday life. You kind of like live and work and breathe in your creative zone. Okay, I want to get a card for the creative person that, or creative being that pile 2 represents. Interesting. We have the 7 of Swords, and I saw the number 333. So 333 to me is a number of like ascended masters, ascended creatives, that kind of a thing. So like creatives beyond this realm, or like energy that seeks to create. So like this can be beings or whatever. But with the 7 of Swords here, this is kind of, I feel like right now it's difficult for you to feel like what you're doing is unique, or what you're doing is exclusive to your own practice or something. It almost feels like you're worried about taking other people's ideas or like intellectual property. And I feel like part of what this energy that I'm sending towards you, if you are open, if you are receiving it, is to help kind of calm those fears. Like if you're worried about taking ideas or not being authentic or not being genuine when you are being a creative being, I feel like those fears need to subside, because they may be sabotaging you from getting into that flow state, getting into that state where you are feeling like you're able to express genuine things that you need to express. I also feel like you're at somewhat of a crossroads, and you're not really sure, like, should I pick up this new creative project or continue not really doing all that much with my creative stuff. And if that's not resonating, don't worry, but that message is for somebody that you may be like blocking yourself from doing all these creative things because you feel like it's not going to be as good as what you expect it to be or what you want it to look like. So what is the strength of this pile in their creative pursuits? Okay, we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, and as a strength, this is a very interesting card, because the 5 of Pentacles can be about like kind of isolating yourself or being alone, but not in an intentional way. It's not one where you're seeking that out, but I feel like in the reverse, it is kind of like, you know when to retreat, you know when to kind of let yourself suffer almost. And like as an artist or as a creative, because not everybody resonates with that title of artist, but as a creative person, it is something that like, it is important to isolate yourself sometimes, to check in with yourself and be like, what is aesthetically important to me? What is like politically or like spiritually important for me to share in my art? What is the message that I'm trying to say? And I feel like that's something that you do really well. And I want to get another card kind of to help elaborate on this strength. And we have the 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. So the card right after, which is interesting, and both of these have plants on them. So I do feel like one of the plants is dead and one of the plants is alive, but you're allowing yourself to let what has died fall away and use it as fuel for more creative work. So like if I'm thinking of like, okay, with the flowers here, if you have a bouquet of dead flowers, you will take them and then like use them in a collage or something, or like draw them or something. Like those aren't the only ways to create, but I feel like you're taking things that maybe other people might cast aside or throw away and kind of using them as like fertilizer for further creative projects. Also, I do feel like you have really good boundaries. So like if somebody isn't giving you back what you deserve in terms of like creative things, like this could be creativity is pretty expansive and totally like limitless, and it's not bound by like just being like a painter or a traditional artist, you know. It could be a writer, things like this. Whatever you are doing that is an expression of yourself is creativity. And I feel like you don't give your creative products to just anyone. You want there to be an even and balanced like reciprocal exchange between you and whoever is consuming your art, and I think that that's really important. You know that your art may not be for everyone, or your creative products, I don't want to limit it to art, but your creative products may not be like resonating with every person who comes across them, and so you're really good at like establishing that boundary. What is pile 2's like weakness as an artist or something that they could improve on in their creative process. We have the Page or Daughter of Swords in the reverse. So this is in the mental space because Swords is talking about our mentality, but I feel like this is... The Page of Swords is kind of a quicker energy. It's an action card. It's being able to take action on the things that you know you need to take action on. But in the reverse, I feel like this is preventing yourself from doing those things. If you've been contemplating like posting your work somewhere, or starting a blog, or starting a YouTube channel, or like any number of like sharing things, and I feel like this is more of an online platform right now. For some of you, this could be like publishing work in a physical copy, like making a zine or something, but doing the thing, like even if it doesn't come out the way that you want, just like take the steps and do it right now, because this imposter syndrome with this Seven of Swords here is keeping you from really being able to ask yourself the right questions. And like, if you hold yourself to a high standard and you expect everything you do to be perfect the first time you do it, like, it's kind of unrealistic, because yes, you're going to have a good product no matter what you do, because you're creating, and creating in itself is like a miraculous act. But if you limit yourself, you're not going to be able to create with the skills. Like, do you think that Michelangelo just did the Sistine Chapel first thing? That was his first piece he ever did? No, like he definitely was doing other things that he may not have been as proud of, but like looking back, they all kind of added up. So I want to ask a question to this deck. Actually, I feel like this deck doesn't want to talk to you guys, sorry. I want to ask this deck about what energy can pile 2 embody in order to believe more in their creative self and feel more in a flow state. Can we get 2 cards, please? Okay, 1. We got the Iguana. This is 41. Contentment, satisfaction. 1 more card, please. This card. Withdrawn, secretive. Interesting. There's some repeat cards from another pile. So if you were drawn to another pile, check that out. Also, I don't know if you saw that, but this card just kind of flew off, so I'm going to pull this one too. And we have Javelina. I'm really not sure what kind of animal this is. And it says argument, power, struggle. Okay, I feel like this is you. Again, with that comparison energy, is there a specific artist that you almost idolize and then you're comparing yourself to them? Like they've become instead of an inspiration for you, they've become somewhat of a competition rather than somebody that you admire. This could be like one person specifically or a group of people, or you may have other people who are looking in on your situation and kind of criticizing your work when you're not at the point where you're ready to receive constructive criticism. So again, with this withdrawn and secretive energy, I do feel like this is embodying a private practice. So anything that you're doing creatively right now, I do feel like at least for the time being, it's kind of important to keep it to yourself, especially if it's like working through certain emotions or certain experiences that you've had in the past. I do feel like kind of keeping this stuff to yourself and not letting too much input be put in on your work right now, because it is important for you to sit there and process what you're creating and like what it's saying about yourself as an artist and like the environments and situations that you've been in. With the Iguana energy, contentment and satisfaction, I feel like this is more of what you need to embody. Being content and satisfied with everything that you make, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it makes you feel like. Even if it's something that you hate, put it in a closet, don't touch it, and just come back to it in a month or 2 or even a year or so. Like, it doesn't matter. Getting something out is what's important for you right now, because you're like blocking your own process by keeping yourself stuck and keeping yourself in fear. That fear energy, I feel like is really strong with you guys. It's like fear of not being good enough, fear of not communicating effectively enough, or not saying what you want to say. Like if you have a message that you really want to get across but you're not sure how to, it's going to end up coming across the more that you just develop a consistent practice. Okay, I want to pull one more card for you guys. just to kind of close up this reading and see any hidden artistic talent that I have not quite touched on. If I can get a specific type. Okay. We have imbalance. This is again touching back to that Seven of Swords energy. I do feel like that this is an imbalance of like where you spend your time and your energy. So it may be that you get an opportunity to do some kind of creative things, but then you spend time like numbing yourself or like watching TV or something instead, and that's not any criticism in you. I think it's important to rest, but I do think it's also important to know when you have like strong emotions coming up, instead of like numbing yourself out, maybe pouring yourself into something creative might be helpful. Anything else, any other untapped or undiscovered creative energies for pile 2? Innocence. Okay. For some of you, I feel like these are gifts that you had or creative things that you did as a child that you have forgotten about, or somebody shamed you into not wanting to practice these like kind of rituals anymore. Even if they seem like kind of silly or childish, I feel like there are guides that are watching over you that are going to, again, keep this private, keep this something that like you don't even have to share with anybody. It's just for your own good, and it's going to give you inspiration and allow you to be more free and more in a flow state with like your own higher self. So otherwise, that's all I'm seeing for you, pile 2. I hope that this resonated. I'm sending you so many blessings and so much love. I will see you in another video. Bye, friends. Hello, pile 3. If you selected pile 3 or this little moon rock, then this is going to be your creative gifts or creative talents reading. So I want to start the reading off by doing a couple little things and describing the energy that I'm going to be infusing into this reading, but I will start with this little sound bell to cleanse the space and kind of create a protective shield. So I am going to be offering some Reiki through my words and through like the tarot reading that I am offering today, just to assist you in your creative practice and help you with any like blockages or like ascensions that you need at the time. And I did explain this in the beginning of the video if you stayed to watch that, but I just wanted to reiterate. So the only thing you need to do to be open to receiving Reiki is just open yourself up to it, set an intention. If you don't want to participate in this portion of the video, that is totally fine. You can skip ahead a little bit, but we are going to light this with the intention that it is for the highest function, for the greater experience of the viewers of pile 3, to help anoint them, to help attune them to their highest creative good, and assist them with receiving and producing creative works that come from the heart space and come from the spiritual body. So for this pile, I'm feeling like you guys are very, like, you resonate with kind of being a more artistic or creative bunch. I do feel like you guys have a pretty consistent creative practice, but you're more interested in receiving the depths of what you can draw into your creative practice. So I'm going to start out with asking what is kind of hindering you from being in a flow state right now, or just what your creative practice looks like in general. Oh, and we got 2 cards. Okay, so spirited, you stand properly and you stand crooked. Hopefully you can see that. It has a little bat on it. And then energy. And this says, do not lose your head because you will lose yourself. Okay, I feel like some of your ego is tied up in your creative process right now, and it's like about what does this make me look like? What does this say about me? What are people thinking about me? You're very focused on the other and like the image that is involved in the art. If you are like, I feel like some of you are more like musical artists, or you sell your art, or you have like some kind of like your face is involved, so you could also be filming videos or something, or like doing interviews. But there's something about it that, like, again, with this, you stand properly and you stand crooked. You are standing upright, you are doing things right, but there's part of you that, because you're trying to stand so upright, you end up leaning to the side almost. Like, it's like misrepresenting yourself on accident because you're so focused on what you are saying with what you're communicating. I hope that makes sense. I feel like part of this is mostly anxiety, and like you're working through a certain portion of your ego so that it doesn't harm you in the future and it doesn't keep you from creating in the way that you want to create. I want to move in with some traditional tarot, and I just want to ask your guides that have come through, what can pile 3 draw into their creative practice? So, like, what can they do more of? And then what is blocking them from, the creative practice that they want? And we got one on the floor. Okay. Do you see how these ones are light and these ones are dark? There's a certain part of your shadow, which I feel like this is more connected to the ego side of things. So like, if you don't really know all that much about ego or like ego death, I would look into that. But ego is kind of like this image of ourselves, or like this idea that we put up of ourselves of like who we're supposed to be and what we identify with, what makes us feel comfortable. And sometimes our ego can prevent us from growing, and I feel like that's kind of like what's going on right now. Your creative gifts are very much to be different. I am feeling like there's a lot of Aquarius energy or like Capricorn, because there is like a drive and an impulse to work in this group. But sometimes your own ideas about what your creative practice should look like or what it should be doing for other people keep you from your own humility, if that makes any sense. Like, sometimes as an artist you get wrapped up in the success, and then it keeps you from, or like as a creative, it keeps you from being able to recognize that it's not fully just you doing the work. Like, for me, when I'm doing creative stuff, I'm recognizing that there are many different energy forces that are like working with my spiritual energy to produce this product, and it's not just me that's doing it. Focusing on what you should be bringing in, what you should be synthesizing, we have Temperance and Mother of Pentacles in the reverse, or Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So I feel like this is kind of an energy of like giving credit where credit's due. So if you're working with spirits, or if you haven't been paying attention to your spirit guides, or like the energies that are beyond you that help assist you with your work, maybe giving them some more recognition would be beneficial at this time. But also with the card of Temperance, usually I don't see it like this, but in this case I do feel like this can be talking about sobriety, or talking about spending time recognizing when your emotions and your like creative impulses need to be allowed to like be set free. So not putting so much restraint on like what is creative, and just like allowing your creative practice to kind of be part of like everything that you do. So like, if you have an idea and you need to write it down, like allowing yourself to have the freedom to write, or like be engaging in creative process at all times is important. I also feel like with the Mother of Pentacles in the reverse, this is sometimes talking about spending time with other people, or like allowing your creative process to be in service of other people. So like spending time with friends or doing something for somebody, I feel like it's really going to expand you and help you get out of your own like your own self, like get out of your own way. So maybe make a gift for somebody, do something with someone else in mind, and you might be able to open yourself up to. I feel like a lot of you have like a psychic gift that is involved with your creative gift, and so doing that is going to allow for you to not be so stuck on your own self. Things that are kind of blocking you right here, or like preventing you from this creative self, is the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Cups, and both of these are upright and they're both pretty dark. I do feel like this is trying to do too much at once. So like with the Ten of Wands, you are taking all these things on, and like you feel like, I feel like a lot of you have so much creative energy that sometimes you exhaust yourself with it, or like you are trying to do too much. Especially with this energy, do not lose your head, because you will lose yourself. Like I feel like it's not a matter of finding your creative gifts, it's more like editing them down. Like it's almost like pruning a tree, you know. And then the Eight of Cups, some of you have certain like relationships or habits, or like these are more lifestyle things that block off your creativity. So again, with that, it's kind of harping, I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean, harping back at this Temperance energy, where you find this balance, and sometimes the balance means that you need to walk away from certain things. You need to let certain things stay in the past, or be a past version of like your creative process. So like if this does involve like substances, or like certain rituals too, this doesn't have to just be substances. This can be like the way that you get out your creative things. This is like developing a new routine, basically. This is going to open your emotions up as well, because after the Eight of Cups, after you decide to walk away, is the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, which is basically contentment. So what is a hidden gift of pile 3? We have the Squirrel, responsibility, balance. Again, with that balancing energy, I do feel like there's something that is going on with this creative process of yours, which is like knowing when to find the balance, and that's going to like give you time to restore yourself on the inside. So like if you're spending all your time creating, you're gonna drain yourself. If you're spending no time creating, you are like getting frustrated because you build up all of this stuff and you have no way to release it. What is another creative gift of pile 3? Because I do feel like there's something that's like kind of at the back of my mind that is trying to push itself forward. Now that we've kind of gotten through that, like what's going on, just 1 or 2 more cards, please. Okay, we're gonna do it this way. 1. Whoa. And the top card. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What did I say? You guys have some kind of psychic gift that is involved. Oh, and this 4th card is coming out. Okay. You guys have some kind of psychic gift that is involved, or like a spiritual gift that is involved in your creative gift. I do feel like this has to do with like some kind of visual energy, or like visual exchange. So either you're making visuals for people, or there's something about like the inner vision that contributes to what you have to say. So if you are like writing, or you're communicating in some kind of verbal form, it is coming from like the things that you're seeing, and like possibly also the synchronicities that you're stringing together. So it's an accumulation of things. The Temperance card can also be talking about synthesis, or like the weaving together of things. You could also actually be doing textile things as well. But like you're drawing a lot of things together. This could also be like drawing in cultural things as well. So like things that are important to you culturally, connecting them with like the past to the present. With the card Empowerment, Freedom, I feel like there's something about your creative process that is needing to be freed up. Like either you need to like physically move and like go somewhere, like go to a park, go outside, go shift the way that you are practicing, like move into a different space. But there's by empowering yourself, by freeing your own process, you are going to free the people who consume your creative work. With the cleansing and transformation, the toad, I not only do I feel like this is a like spirit guide of yours, this animal, but I do feel like this transformative nature is something that comes because of the way that you practice. So like, even if you feel like it's silly or insignificant, what you're doing is opening up this energy for other people in the future, and also for yourself. The squirrel is the first one that came out, the responsibility and balance. I feel like that just goes back to you being able to kind of, because it's your responsibility, tighten up your practice and like leave things that need to be left in the past. Otherwise, I feel like this is all I'm seeing for you, pile 3, excuse me. I am sending so many blessings and so much love your way. I will see you in another video. Keep creating. You are doing fantastic. Bye, friends. Hello, pile 4. If you selected this shell, or just pile 4 was calling to you, then this is going to be your creative talents reading. So I'm going to start with tarot and just kind of get an idea of you as a creative person. We got the Magician. So I feel like this is not so much a physical practice for you. It can turn into some of like physical things, but I do feel like this is more of like, it starts on the spiritual, it starts in a more metaphysical place, and then it gets funneled into a more physical practice if it does have to turn into something physical. What is the creative strength of pile 4? We have the 3 of Pentacles. So teamwork, working with other people, but also I feel like this is doing, like, it's almost like setting things up for other people. It may be that you are an assistant to other creative people, and so you are like kind of responsible for bringing things together and starting a process for someone else, or you like collect things almost. What is like a weakness of your creative practice? And we have the Father of Cups. So you restrain your emotions or keep them in, and so it keeps you from being able to express them, and I feel like that's why you can't take the next step and maybe do more of this creative process by yourself. I feel like this is something that will come in time for you, but right now it's something that like may possibly keep you from seeing the full potential of your creative process. Creative processes don't have to be things that you even market. I feel like that's not really something that you guys really want to do. It's not something that you feel like is in line with your own life purpose. And if that doesn't resonate, you know, take whatever else resonates. But I feel like for some of you, your creative process is more of something for your own self to enjoy. So I want to get a little bit more of the creative gifts or creative profile of you, maybe some untapped potential or things that you haven't really recognized in your own self as a creator. So this card, dwellings. Okay, so it may be that you are really good at energy work when it comes to like designing a space or creating a space, nesting almost. This could also be painting walls or like something homey about it. There's something about like helping people create space where they live. Anything else? This card. Work. I feel like this is more of like energy work. So I'm thinking of this, like, you're good at the business side of creative stuff too. You're not too, again, with this like creating a creative outlet for somebody else to be able to do it. And then fear in the reverse. So I feel like you're really good at calming other people's fears around their creative stuff. I feel like you're really good at encouraging other people to do creative things because you're very comfortable in what you do. it's not that you have any fear of creating, it's more of like not knowing exactly what to communicate when you sit down to do it. I feel like something that's going to help you if you do want to expand your creative stuff is creating like a routine. So like if you really want to get better at drawing, making a point to draw even like a simple drawing once a day for like 30 days, I feel like it'll open you up to something that you didn't know that you could do. Let's get one energy of something that pile 4 can embody to assist them as a creative being. Okay. Wow. It fell on the floor. And we have the bear, strength and confidence, and then the bottom of the energy is bottom of the deck energy is cooperation, completion. This is a subconscious energy. I feel like maybe if you have a regular practice of like drinking every weekend, maybe replace that one night with like or change the way that you're doing it, like do like wine and painting or something rather than just wine, you know. Do something that's going to maybe loosen you up with this strength and confidence. But I also feel like if you have something that you've been trying to walk away from, replacing it with a creative process or something that you see as creative or an expression of yourself, it doesn't have to be traditionally creative, is going to help you like do something different. I feel like this could be like filming videos of yourself, taking pictures. Like it doesn't have to be anything that you see as like a career kind of a thing, because I don't feel like a lot of you really want to monetize all that much of what you're doing. But having the strength and the confidence to go out and see yourself kind of embodying this emotional space that you have, kind of, it's not like you pushed it away, but you've like pushed it down within yourself so that it like needs some way to erupt. And I do feel like this is going to open you up on like spiritual levels as well and allow you to start like manifesting more of what you desire, because the magician is an energy about manifesting. It is about like a career sense, and it may open you up in different realms. I feel like a lot of you need to like blow off steam because you do something that you don't really feel like is creative in a career sense. And so in order to like get yourself in touch with your environment, it is going to really assist you to start seeing yourself more as a creative being. I think that that's it, actually. I hope that this resonated. I hope that you received so many blessings, so much love being sent your way. This candle was for collective Reiki if you were open to receiving it as well. I forgot to kind of explain that at the beginning, but otherwise I will see you in another video, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye, friend.